Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. My name's Ashton. Today is August 14th. It is 1:44 here in the afternoon. Today I'm going to be talking about the Chiefs and their first preseason game so far, and what rookies I was particularly looking at, and also later on in the podcast talking about the NBA and their nationally televised games, the big matchups that you are going to want to watch out for. So starting off with the Chiefs rookies, they looked really good in the first preseason game. The score was 31-17, I believe. Let me look that up real quick. But Mecole Hardman, the Chiefs wide receiver, number 17, he is almost as fast as Tyreek Hill. He caught a pass and just took it towards the end zone, and everybody just looked like 5 steps slower than he was. So he was this offense this year is going to be really explosive. I'm really looking forward to watching the Chiefs offensively. Everybody's like saying that Patrick Mahomes is not going to get like 50 touchdowns this year, but I think he can. Honestly, I think he can match that, if not get even more touchdowns in the passing game, because Mecole Hardman is pretty much like another Tyreek Hill almost, but a little bit taller and younger, and he's not going to get suspended or anything for abusing his child or anything. So, not to call out Tyreek Hill or anything, but Tyreek Hill didn't get suspended. He didn't get suspended, so Tyreek Hill will be there from day one. Another rookie that I was looking forward to watching in the first Chiefs preseason game against the Bengals was Juan Thornhill, safety in the backfield for the Chiefs. From what I've heard from training camp and watching the franchise on the Chiefs, it's just the franchise is something. It's like a documentary kind of ordeal where they record all of the. So far, they've recorded the free agency, they've recorded training camp, and they've just they're getting to interviews with one-on-one with players and stuff. So it's kind of cool to watch all that and see how they do all of it. It's kind of interesting, and all I've the last episode that I watched from the franchise, they talked a little bit about Juan Thornhill and how he's always he's a ball hawk, and he is always whenever somebody throws Patrick Mahomes or Chad Henne, whenever they throw the football, he's kind of always near the football and seems to always do really well getting near the football and wrapping up guys and getting interceptions. So I've heard he's had a really good training camp, and from what I've watched, from what he had played in the first preseason game, he looked pretty good. And now I'm kind of switching towards more of the offensive side of the football. This guy, he was the running back. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I gotta look him up, but he was number 25. He was one of our late round picks, the 6th round pick, number 25. He just kind of outran everybody, and he made some really good plays. He almost hurdled a guy. Deron Thompson is his name, and he is pretty quick and speedy. He's out of Utah State, and he was a 6th round pick, 214th pick, and I'm kind of excited to watch him because he'll be right behind Williams and Carlos Hyde, and he'll be our third main back. I think he'll mainly be playing on special teams, and what he'll probably be like one of the gunners and like going after players and like trying to like. So what I mean by gunner is he's like on the outside, and like when we punt the football and we have to go chase after him, uh, he's one of those guys on the outside that has to like he's getting double teamed by usually by the return team, and so he'll have to fight through that and wrap up the guy on the other end. That's what I see him being as. But also, I could see him being the one to like also be the one on special teams to like say down to hike when he's right next to the punter. And so that's kind of what I see his role is at on this team, anyways. I feel like he's gonna make the team because he's proven himself pretty useful, and with the core of Damian Williams, Carlos Hyde, and Daryl Williams, also no relationship, no relation whatsoever to Damian Williams, but we have a really strong core of running backs, and I'm kind of excited to watch that as well. And so, Chiefs' first preseason game, the Bengals kind of looked sluggish out there. They didn't really look like they were ready for preseason play at all. They kind of were just kind of there. It looked like, and I was I was really impressed with the Chiefs and what he was what we were able to do offensively and defensively. And the first drive for Patrick Mahomes, he kind of went down the field, and we handed we. I remember Patrick Mahomes scrambled, and it looked like he was almost about to get into the end zone, and but before he almost got into the end zone, there were like 3, 4 Bengal defenders in the area, like right there in the end zone, like looking like they were about to like take his head off. So I'm glad that he got on the got onto the ground when he did, because if he didn't, he probably would have gotten decapitated. That's the word. Uh, and so the I didn't really. My brothers heard that he was going to play the first whole quarter. Um, I was just kind of expecting one drive, um, and that was it. And that's kind of what we got. And but everybody was kind of looking forward to seeing Patrick Mahomes the whole first quarter. But the Bengals' first drive took up most of the first quarter, anyways. So, and it was just a long consecutive drive, so it wasn't anything to like I regardless, I didn't think we were going to see Patrick Mahomes all that much anyways, so I was kind of like, okay, I doubt it. But um, in the second preseason game, we might see like another drive after, like a couple more drives of Patrick Mahomes than we did see here in the first game. Couple is pushing it, but yeah, you probably won't see much of Patrick Mahomes in this preseason. You'll probably see him most likely the most in the third preseason game. So I wouldn't really count on seeing him out there all that much. Usually the third preseason game is when you know who your mostly you know who your starters are, and you kind of just want to see them. And it's kind of like it's kind of like one of your first regular season games, and so you kind of for that third preseason game, the starters are getting their legs underneath them. They've gotten like game time type of reps, and so they're just out there just to perform and to have fun, and to also like prove their worth. And uh, so that's mainly when you'll see Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey and all all your star players mainly on the team, and uh, I'm looking forward to watching Tyrann Mathieu throughout preseason just to show. Uh, he's one of my favorite DB. He was kind of like one of my favorite DBs coming out of LSU, and Marcus Claiborne, who played with Tyrann Mathieu at LSU, is now on the Chiefs. We recently just signed him, and so Tyrann Mathieu and Marcus Claiborne had been talking for the past couple of months, and Tyrann Mathieu finally convinced Marcus Claiborne to sign with the Chiefs, and uh, it was kind of a no brainer for Marcus because he gets a fresh start. I don't think he's going to be the same player that he was in Dallas, where he was kind of one of the Cowboys' more shutdown corners. I don't see him being like that. I see him though being uh, better than what our DBs have been playing as. So um, I see him pairing well with Juan Thornhill, Tyrann Mathieu, and sh- uh, 35 um, for the Chiefs. I want to say it's West, but it's not Sharkhandrick West. It's uh, anyways. I see our DB core group of guys being pretty well together, and so it will be kind of fun to watch because right now our our Char- Charvarius Ward, that was the name. I knew it started with a W, but it wasn't West. It was Ward. Charvarius Ward. I remember Charvarius Ward was pretty good at the end of the regular season. He actually caught what would have been, if D Ford wasn't offsides, uh, the game winner on in the AFC Championship game, because Tom Brady threw it to Gronk. It went through Gronk's hands, and Charvarius caught the ball, and he would have, and he ran out of bounds and stuff. And so, if D Ford wasn't out off sides, we would have went to the Super Bowl straight up. Like that would have been like I would have been celebrating so hard. Um, I I probably would have cried a little bit, and so I was I'm looking forward to it. Uh, our secondary being a young veteran group. Uh, so Charvarius Ward, Kendall Fuller, Tyrann Mathieu, Juan Thornhill, and it's just going to be a great. It'll be. Uh, it's a work in progress right now. We've our secondary is still one of the worst secondaries in the league, corner wise. But uh, Marcus Claiborne will help us out a little bit. His communication with Tyrann Mathieu should be pretty good. Tyrann will tell him what spots to be in and all this stuff, and how to play um, receivers, and what Tyrann Mathieu envisions the secondary being. So I feel like, well, it's kind of a coincidence too because we have Les Miles here in Lawrence as well, and it's kind of like all the LSU players that played with Les Miles is coming to the Kansas City area, and I kind of like it because it's it's LSU football here in Kansas City, so it'll be fun, exciting to watch this year. Um, I can't wait for the regular season to start, and I'm excited. I'm really excited. So recently, as of yesterday, the NBA just posted all their uh, prime time games, and it's gonna be pretty fun to watch all the matchups this year. I'm really looking forward to the Clippers and the Lakers facing off, um, and also uh, all the pretty much it's going to be a lot of drama here in the NBA. a lot of fans are kind of. I'm expecting the Warriors not to do all that great in the regular season, but I feel like they're going to be like a fifth or sixth seed in the West. Um, but if Draymond can produce offensively and defensively, like he's been doing, and can hit shots consistently from the 3 point line and from the mid range, um, they're going to be a fun team to watch. Um, Mainly because, yes, they don't have Klay Thompson, but Steph Curry, if he can perform like he did back in 2016 when he won the MVP, it's going to be one heck of a ride for the Warriors. It's going to be a lot of ups and downs. Um, and so it's going to be pretty fun to watch. And I'm excited because it's a when you're in the off season, there's so many possibilities of what could happen. Like you can guess, like, oh, the Warriors are going to make their sixth finals appearance straight finals appearance, and possibly win it all. That's actually a possibility. Like you can't really count the Warriors out because by the time Klay Thompson gets back, it's going to be around when the playoffs start, and it's gonna be really fun and interesting to watch as the season progresses and prolongs. Um, the Trailblazers, I I think they're gonna be like a top three seed in the West. Uh, That and a lot of people saw them go to the Western Conference Finals and get swept last year. They have the majority of their core guys returning, and what we've seen through most of this offseason is uh, players really teams have been getting new players like and they all have to like figure out how to like play with each other. And some people like they've known how to play with each other, like Russell Westbrook and James Harden in Houston. They've played together before in Oklahoma City Thunder. Now that was 5 6 years ago, 5 6 7 years ago, so it's they kind of have to update their resume on that. But they've played together before, and that's kind of why Russell Westbrook was wanting to go to Houston to play with Harden because they've played together before and they really it worked out. But also Kevin Durant was on that team in Oklahoma City when they went to the finals, so they think that they can recreate that a little bit and go back to the finals and pretty much uh, this year is kind of up for anybody. There's no particular team to come out and win it all. Kawhi and Paul George in Los Angeles, they have a potential of winning it. Just because uh, the Clippers, they pushed the Warriors to 6 games, and every game that they played against the Warriors, um, they did it without a star, and it was really close with every single game. And so it's kind of going to be fun to watch them as they pretty much uh, they needed stars pretty much, and they got stars, and they didn't really have to trade all that much to get them, and they've kept their main group core intact. They got Lou Williams, who's coming off the bench. Uh, Montrezl Harrell, who's coming off the bench as well. He may start potentially. Um, their their starting five is going to look like Patrick Beverly, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, possibly Montrezl Harrell, and Zubac, and that's gonna it's gonna be a really fun team to watch. Uh, that's a potential starting five for them. They've got a multitude of players that they can just plug in and produce for them right away. So that'll be fun and then to watch. And also the Los Angeles Lakers with all their free agent signings, Danny Green, um, DeMarcus Cousins, Quinn Cook, who was on the championship run with the Warriors, who was the backup point guard to Steph Curry, and his story is kind of unique because his Quinn Quick's dad was one of he was a big Lakers fan, and Quinn Cook's dad had died, and he's he and when he had that opportunity to go into free agency, it was kind of a no brainer for him to sign with the Lakers because he knew that if his dad was alive, his dad would like just wouldn't let it down. He probably would be at an all time high, knowing that his son uh, is on his favorite team. And Quinn Cook himself really liked the Lakers, and that was one of his favorite teams as well. So it was kind of a no brainer for Quinn Cook to sign with the Lakers. And they also got Jared Dunleavy, uh, who was in Brooklyn and came over to Los Angeles. So he'll be uh, a good asset for the Lakers. And uh, Anthony Davis, which is the biggest signing in all of this, um, doing the pick and roll with LeBron James. It will be fun to watch there, and he'll be teaming up with his old teammate DeMarcus Cousins, who, when they played together in New Orleans, they were unguardable in the low post. They were unguardable. They were unlike anything in the NBA. It was really fun to watch him. I don't expect DeMarcus to start. I think he'll be kind of a role player for the Lakers. He'll probably come off the bench. I'll expect JaVale McGee to start the season, but don't be surprised if DeMarcus gets the starting job, kind of like a few games into the season. And I've always been kind of high on DeMarcus, um, from the standpoint of he's a really good player, but his attitude is kind of everywhere, and he's kind of always had a bad attitude, and he's gotten himself into trouble at times with his attitude, and uh, he was drafted by the Sacramento Kings, and he came out of Kentucky. He's always had a bad attitude when it comes to just everything. Um, his but I'm really high on his offense because his offense, he proved with the Warriors that he can still play in this game, and he can still get 20, 25 points when he's healthy. Um, in that finals series, he kind of just came off an injury and was kind of thrown into the fire, and he was kind of working on one leg, and after I think he didn't tear his Achilles. It was I know that it was a leg injury of some sort, but Kevin Durant tore his Achilles, so he'll miss. Kevin Durant will miss all of this next season. But um, some key games to watch. I'm kind of looking forward to the Christmas Day Houston Rockets versus the Warriors. That'll be a fun one to watch because Russell Westbrook and Harden teaming up against uh, Steph Curry and Draymond, and that'll be a fun one to watch. And so it'll be quite fun to watch most of these matchups this year. Um, I'm gonna kind of give you the uh, the opening day schedule for the I'm kind of looking this up online. Uh, so Christmas Day, um, Milwaukee at Philadelphia. That's going to be at 2:30. Houston at Golden State. That's going to be at 5. The Clippers and the Lakers at 8 p.m. And uh, the Pelicans and the Denver Nuggets. That's going to be at 10:30 at night. And that's going to be a really fun one to watch. Uh, Toronto will host New Orleans on opening night. That will be October 22nd, and Zion will be playing that day. And also, the Clippers and the Lakers will also be playing opening day as well. That will be at 10:30. at night. So it'll be pretty much a fun opening day to watch and Christmas Day. And uh, also, I'm kind of looking forward to watching the Brooklyn Nets face off against the Boston Celtics, and for Kyrie to prove that he wasn't the problem in Boston, and because he got most of the blame for not being able to produce and to get out of the second round against Milwaukee, and so he's got to prove that he wasn't the problem, and this is kind of a free year for Kyrie Irving to just kind of mess around and go drop 26, 27 points a game and prove that he can lead a team until Kevin Durant gets back. And Kevin Durant, when he comes back off his Achilles, I don't expect him to be the same player that he was before the injury, but I'd probably expect him to be 80, 85% of the player. And being that overall, he's he's still going to be like a top 5 player in the league, and he's gonna he's gonna perform for the Brooklyn Nets. I think that he's gonna the Brooklyn Nets are gonna get to the finals, if not win the finals, within the next 3 years, and so it's gonna be really fun to watch Brooklyn and to show their dominance in New York, and the New York Knicks kind of. I know that everybody says that they missed out in free agency on Kyrie and Kevin Durant. They were never going to get him anyways. It was kind of in the New York market. They were always kind of like just hoping for to get those type players because the two max slots, and they were like, oh, what? Like we're New York. We're gonna get Kyrie and Kevin Durant. They really were never going to get Kyrie and Kevin Durant because uh, who was on that team beforehand that's now on the Brooklyn Nets was DeAndre Jordan, and they didn't really feel like playing DeAndre Jordan because they felt like tanking and they just kind of wanted to get to the off season and they kind of wanted to show the young guys and they kind of just sat DeAndre Jordan and DeAndre I know for a fact didn't like that and he's been on the record saying that he didn't like that and so he and now he gets to play a lot of minutes in Brooklyn with Kyrie and getting that chemistry working and taken out. I think it's going to be Lob City and Brooklyn for next year, anyways. He's going to have a whole lot of highlight reel type of lob dunks, and him and Kyrie are going to get along pretty well. Kyrie has never had a guy like DeAndre Jordan that can just go up and for a lob, except like LeBron James, and that was kind of it. Like LeBron, you could lob one up to LeBron, and you know that it's gonna be a slam dunk. It's the same thing with DeAndre Jordan. You know you can lob one up, and he's gonna slam it down. But when Kevin Durant comes back, he now has a second lob option as well because Kevin Durant he can do it as well. So it's gonna be pretty fun to watch uh, Kyrie and Brooklyn and DeAndre and to see if they mess with um, mess with the growth of Karis LeVert and Jarrett Allen. Um, Karis LeVert he struggled when he first came back from his injury. It was a pretty disgusting and nasty looking injury. I was kind of like, oh dang, when I watched it. But but yeah, he came back. He struggled out of the gate because he needed to get his legs underneath him, and then he came and he started dropping 20 in the playoffs, and where he was averaging 8 points in like the regular season, like after his injury, and so he was it was kind of interesting to watch that develop, like him grow into a potential scorer for and be like a second or third option for the Brooklyn Nets. So that it's going to be fun to watch. Also, I'm going to be looking forward to watching Anthony Davis going back to New Orleans this year, because uh, they moved on from Anthony Davis with getting the number one overall pick, which is Zion Williamson, and building a team around him. And so it's going to be fun to watch. Zion Williamson got J.J. Redick in free agency. Um, Drew Holiday is still there with them. They that is a potential playoff team, probably like a seventh or eighth seed. But um, they the Pelicans they got better from this, and it's going to be fun to watch the Pelicans throughout the season to see how Zion grows into a player in the NBA and getting used to playing at the NBA level. I remember watching one of Zion's his only game in the NBA Summer League. He stole it, like he just straight up grabbed it from Kevin Knox and just slammed it. And uh, Kevin Knox was cradling it like a baby, and Zion just literally took it away from him, grabbed the ball, stripped it away from him, and throwing Kevin Knox to the ground, and then Zion just slammed it, and like it was nothing, and it was kind of like, whoa, what's this? Like, and it kind of showed that he could play at this level, and I'll be looking forward to watching that and to see if Kevin Knox can get his revenge. Um, so it'll be fun to watch that this season. Uh, it'll be it'll be fun. Um, hey guys, that's kind of all that I had for today. Thank you for listening into the podcast, and tune in next time. If you are new to the channel, subscribe, and thank you for listening, and have a great rest of your day, guys.